Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Tuesday, December 14th, 2021. And our top story today, rents and occupancy rates in the U.S. rise in November. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Damon Kennard of Douglas Elliman Real Estate. Damon, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Likewise, good to see you, Jeff.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about New York, we're going to talk about the U.S., but overall, rents and occupancy rates are going up according to a couple different measurements. What do you have to say about all this?
Yeah, stories are true. Rents are surging, especially here in New York. Vacancy rates are dropping rather precipitously. We're seeing like record lows in occupancy rates, as well as or vacancy rates rather, I should say, as well as all-time highs, like multi-year highs in median rents. So demand is definitely there, and I think the story that New York City is back is kind of old news at this point.
Yeah, New York, just like Broadway is back, New York is back. When you look at the total U.S., because Douglas Elliman is a national real estate agency. You look around to Phoenix, Las Vegas, other areas, they're similar, right? People are kind of flocking back to the city, or at least are interested in renting. What do you attribute that to? Is it job opportunity? People working more remotely? Any attribution you can figure out?
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas, a couple of theories, and of course, a couple of data points, so I won't speculate too much, but certainly optimism over the economy, optimism over the vaccine adoption, as more people are not only getting their vaccines, but are now getting their booster shots are available, and children are now allowed to get the vaccine as well. So I think the overall increased optimism is encouraging people to make moves that they maybe weren't confident doing prior. Also, I would say, and this is kind of more speculative, is that I think that the past 2 years have been very tense for a lot of households. And this is not based on data. This is just my educated guess. But unfortunately, I do think that partnerships have been kind of splitting up. And this is kind of the first opportunity for people to kind of make these moves to get out of these potentially unhappy situations, and that's also causing an increase in demand. But again, that's more anecdotal, not necessarily data driven.
Yeah, but a valid point, and I think the quarantine was the first time where you had to spend a lot of time with your partner and your children, right? I mean, you're a father, you're a husband, and not saying anything about your situation, but you had to spend a lot of time educating your children. I think that could put a lot of strain on a relationship.
Yeah, knock wood. I do not include myself in in that category, but I would like to think that maybe it could have exacerbated existing problems in households rather than sort of the cause. But definitely, it was definitely been a very tense couple of years, and people who naturally had the space of going into a workplace when that no longer existed, I think that created issues that sort of pushed people over the edge. So now you're seeing this demand in rental properties, especially as you may have mentioned the one bedrooms in particular. So there's a demand that way. Also, you're seeing a lot of young people, like on a more optimistic side. Let me shift gears a little bit and say that as young people are more confident and they're able to go back to work, they are now, obviously getting one bedrooms. And to start out, they're starting out and they're able to move out of their parents' home. Those who were fortunate enough to move back home during this pandemic, they're able to move out and start their young professional lives as well. So I think it's all of those factors are contributing to this surge.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a whole story unto itself. Damon, when you look at your business, you look at Douglas Elliman's business, are you seeing a lot of rental business or a lot of home purchasing business, condos, townhomes, full homes? I know we've talked to you about the appreciation of home prices, but when you look at what you're currently working on, are you seeing kind of both listings, and how is it kind of broken out?
Yeah, the answer is all of the above. There's just a lot of potential buyers, potential renters. They were looking to take advantage of the opportunities that the pandemic offered. Record low prices, record landlord concessions, where landlords will typically, this happens in New York, I'm not sure if other markets, but sometimes landlords will offer 1, 2, 3 months of free rent just to get someone into these units. Steep discounts in their rental asking prices for rents. All of that is gone. That's dropped off significantly, and whoever was kind of coming in to kind of take advantage of those, that market is dried up. So yeah, definitely people who are maybe more young, as I said before, young professionals just starting out, they're in the rental market, but they're also maybe if they're getting help from their parents. I actually have a deal right now, a sale where they're getting help from their parents and they're actually just making the purchase because they do feel that long term they are looking to make that move and invest, and this is a great opportunity to do it. So yeah, both rentals and sales and multifamilies, everything's going up.
Yep, it seems like it. Occupancy rates going down, rents and everything else going up. Damon, I need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Damon about maybe some tips about finding the best and negotiating the best rent depending on where you're going to live. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers. This free book reveals little-known secrets about annuity strategies that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. Call right now for your free book, and as a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free, for calling Annuity General today.
Call 800-504-8194.
Welcome back. We're talking this morning to Damon Kennard of Douglas Elliman Real Estate. Damon, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Absolutely.
And our topic today is really occupancy rates going down, rents going up. What are some things that people, you've often talked about negotiation and buying around buying a home, but what are things that you have to think about when trying to find that perfect rental, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Brooklyn, or whether it's in Phoenix, Arizona?
Yeah, well, step one is always to understand what market you're in. So, for instance, if you say last year, you understood where the market was, that there was high vacancy rates, and you want to take advantage of that, and you want to ask for more concessions. You want to start making, feel free to try that low ball offer. But if you're in a market like now where things have shifted quite significantly, then you just want to be aware of that and understand that you don't quite have as much leverage as you would, in a slower market for landlords. So the only thing you can really do is just kind of like just make sure your financials are attractive to potential landlords, because at this point you're sort of competing with rentals, with other renters, I should say. So you just want to make sure that your application stands out a bit from the others, that you have really excellent credit, a nice income, a steady income, or if you're a young professional starting out, make sure you could maybe add some references to your application. Your potential or future employer or soon-to-be employer could maybe write a reference letter for you. You just want to make sure that you look like an attractive renter that will be consistent with paying the rent and being a good tenant and honoring and respecting your neighbors. Also, just one other thing. Sorry, is that
sure. Go ahead. My apologies.
No, not at all. Just one other thing is that you want to look at seasonality, because we are actually coming into the winter months and the holidays. So there could actually be opportunities coming up within the next few months. As the weather turns, fewer people want to go out in the cold looking at properties. And that's when landlords are actually a little bit more willing to negotiate. So seasonality is something that you may want to consider when looking at rental properties.
Just a question I have for you. Before the pandemic, common areas, the weight room, if you had a gym, like a game room. I'm trying to think of some of the other. How important are those things now to renters, given everything we've gone through? Are they still at the top? Making sure that they have a pool in some of those higher end buildings, or that you have a washer and dryer. What are some of the things that really people want to tick off their list as being important?
Yeah, definitely we're seeing luxury listings, huge demand for luxury listings. Like you said, a doorman building, that way someone can accept packages, so make sure packages are safe. And then, they can be contactless, like you don't have to, a delivery person could simply like drop it in the package room. So, there's no contact there. Then there's, of course, the amenities. These amenities are actually starting to open up as the vaccine becomes more effective and the restrictions start to loosen up a bit. Then people can actually take advantage of a pool or a gym, these common areas, a theater, a game room, things like that. So, prior to this, a lot of these buildings had these features but couldn't be used because of the restrictions. So the fact that they can be used now, I think people appreciate them a bit more. Private outdoor spaces are also really good, even though the season is turning a bit. People can still, go out and just sit and relax and, maybe barbecue. A lot of these places have electric grills now. So outdoor spaces, doorman buildings, gyms, children's playroom. That's great. Like now people are getting together more. So they can throw little birthday parties in their buildings. So all of these things like create community and allow people to get out of their apartments, but still stay safe.
Last question, Damon. Parking. Parking is at a premium in New York City, but do a lot of these buildings have parking? Do you pay for parking? Have the parking rates gone up, gone down? Are they keeping in line with the occupancy rates going down and the rents going up?
So the way parking typically works is most buildings actually don't have parking attached to them, like where the co-op or the condo or the rental building actually owns the parking garage. That's typically an independent company that runs the garage, and then they often have a relationship with the building that they're connected to, and then those tenants can then get special discount rates because they can even access the garage through the buildings without having to go outside. So so it's a little hard to kind of gauge pricing on that, just because everyone they've always been willing to negotiate, especially with people who are residents of the building they're connected to. But that said, more people are getting cars. More people want to store their cars safely. Street parking is actually a little bit of a premium now because they've built these outdoor structures where restaurants can actually build a little structure where people can eat outside on the street, which is taking up some of the parking, making parking a little bit harder to find. But just overall, I haven't seen that affect pricing because there are a lot of options that people can take advantage of in terms of parking. They can store that. Maybe if they don't use their car as much, they can kind of store it off site, like maybe a little bit further out in like the Bronx or Queens, and just kind of take a car to their car and then take a day trip or something like that. So that's there's still a lot of inventory in terms of parking space. So the pricing hasn't been affected as much, thankfully, as a car owner.
Yeah. Thankfully for a lot of New Yorkers, and you're fortunate living in New York. It's a great walking city, and you've got that great subway. Damon, we're going to have to leave it there. Great news that occupancy going down, rents going up. Maybe good for some, maybe not as good for renters. But great to talk to you as always, and we look forward to having you back on again very soon.
Very good. Thank you very much.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in finance, wellness, lifestyle tech, and so much more, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to see our latest content or search our archives? Check out our streaming partners like Amazon, Roku, and Samsung TV. We're back again tomorrow. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
But if you're tired of the same old
Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.